were a time of rebellion, of bold paint, wild styling, and motorcycles that weren't afraid to push past the limits. It was a decade when manufacturers took risks. Sometimes they created icons. Other times, they built mechanical jokes. Some bikes became legends, names forever tied to speed, refinement, and durability. But others, they wobbled, rattled, leaked, some even put riders in danger, and they were forgotten faster than a twist of the throttle. If you think every motorcycle from the 70s is a collector's dream, think again. We're here to draw the line between the machines that made history and the ones history chose to forget. Let's kick things off with the 6 worst motorcycles of the 1970s. Number 6. 1975's Triumph Trident T160. By 1975's, Triumph was in trouble, and the Trident T160 was supposed to be the bike that saved them. On paper, it had promise. A 741 cubic centimeter inline triple pushing out 58 horsepower at 7,250 revolutions per minute, with 44 pound-feet of torque. But in practice, it just wasn't enough to move its 503-pound frame with any real authority. It came with electric start, but good luck relying on it. Most riders found themselves kicking away like it was 1965's. The gearbox, stiff and stubborn, especially when hot. Neutral often felt like a myth. Oil leaks were common. The electrics, sketchy at best. Even the tack needle danced like it had a mind of its own when the bike sat idling. And when you finally got moving, the ride didn't get much better. The frame was soft, the suspension mushy, and cornering felt more like a hope than a plan. The seat was hard, the foot pegs awkward, and the whole experience left you wondering why Triumph didn't just go all in on something new. It wasn't retro, it wasn't modern, it was stuck in the middle. And sadly, that's exactly where it stayed. Number 5. 1973's Lavada 1003C. The Lavada 1003C looked like it meant business. A big, bold Italian triple with 981 cubic centimeters and 78 horsepower at 7,250 revolutions per minute. On paper, it could run with the best of them. But in the real world, it was all brawn, no grace. It tipped the scales at nearly 540 pounds dry, heavy even by 70s standards. That weight, combined with a tall stance and wide handlebars, made it awkward to maneuver, especially for shorter riders. Tight corners became chores. Quick transitions? Forget it. Shifting was stiff, feedback sluggish. The engine had torque, 63 pound-feet of it, but it came on late and dull. The kind of throttle response that left you wondering if the bike was thinking it over before deciding to move. And that was the problem. It didn't know what it wanted to be. Too heavy and slow to be sporty, too uncomfortable and stiff for real touring. It sat somewhere in the middle. Handsome, sure, but hollow underneath. The styling said, Italian superbike. The experience said, overbuilt truck on 2 wheels. And for all its noise and muscle, the 3 C's left you cold, like dancing with a partner who never quite hears the beat. Number 4. 1974's Ducati 860 GT. You'd think a Ducati would be a sure bet. Sleek lines, razor-sharp handling, that signature Italian growl. But the 860 GT, it missed the mark in almost every direction. Power came from an 864 cubic centimeter L-twin, putting out 65 horsepower at 7,000 RPM and 56 pound-feet of torque. Not bad on paper, but in real life, the delivery was lazy. Throttle response felt dulled, as if the engine was dragging its feet. Then came the looks. Designed by Giorgetto Giugiaro, yes, that Giugiaro, the 860 GT went all in on harsh angles and boxy lines. But what worked on a concept car didn't translate to a motorcycle. The bike looked off balance, blocky, and to many, flat out ugly. Some Ducati fans still call it the ugliest Duke ever built. And it didn't ride much better than it looked. The gearbox was stiff, and gear changes felt like a chore. Suspension front to back was mismatched, making the whole thing feel unstable at speed. Pegs were high, seat was low, uncomfortable for any ride longer than a coffee run. It had the badge, it had the pedigree, but the soul, nowhere to be found. The 860 GT was proof that even Ducati could stumble, and when they did, they stumbled hard. Number 3, 1974's Suzuki RE5. In the mid-70s, Suzuki swung for the fences. They wanted something bold, revolutionary, and they got it, with the RE5 and its wild rotary Wankel engine. On paper, it looked like the future. 497 cubic centimeters, 62 horsepower at 6,500 RPM, and 55 pound-feet of torque, delivered smooth as silk. But smooth didn't mean exciting. It lacked character. No bark, no bite, just a soft hum and a whole lot of weight. At 573 pounds, it was a bear to manage at low speeds, and with no engine braking, you were completely dependent on the handbrakes, which for a bike this heavy felt like a gamble. Then came the heat. That rotary engine ran hot, really hot. In stop-and-go traffic, it blasted your legs with waves of heat that made summer rides miserable. And heaven help you if something broke. The RE5's components were unique, complicated, and nearly impossible to find replacements for. Even its styling was out there. The Tube-style Cyclops gauge cluster looked like it belonged on a spaceship, but was awkward to read. Fuel tank, grips, trim, many parts wore out quickly, and not gracefully. It was brave. It was different. But in the end, the RE5 proved that just because something's futuristic doesn't mean it belongs in the future. Number 2, 1972's Kawasaki H2 Mark IV. If the RE5 was a gentle hum, the Kawasaki H2 Mark IV was a scream in your face. Built with a 748 cubic centimeter, two-stroke triple making 74 horsepower at just 6,800 RPM, it had 57 pound-feet of torque, and it delivered it all at once, like a slap from a freight train. Twist the throttle, and the front wheel came up whether you wanted it to or not. The frame, flimsy. At speed, the whole bike felt like it was flexing underneath you. One disc brake up front, just one, was nowhere near enough to slow down this kind of madness. Riders loved the raw acceleration, but they feared it too. The H2 was brutally fast, but it didn't steer well. It didn't stop well. It vibrated so violently, especially in the mid-range, that many simply gave up trying to ride it hard. And it drank fuel like a jet. Just 25 miles per gallon, with a tiny tank that made long rides laughable. Still, it left a mark. The H2 wasn't just fast, it was wild, unpredictable, and downright dangerous. For many, it earned its nickname the hard way. The Widowmaker. Number 1, 1971's Suzuki TM400 Cyclone. This wasn't just a bad bike. This was a machine that turned fear into horsepower. The Suzuki TM400 Cyclone looked like a motocross dream. 396 cubic centimeters, two-stroke single, putting out 40 horsepower at 6,500 revolutions per minute and 32 pound-feet of torque. But what those numbers didn't tell you was how suddenly it all came on. Throttle response wasn't linear, it was explosive. One twist too far, and the rear wheel snapped loose like a bull breaking out of a chute. There was no smooth power band. Just nothing, then everything, all at once. The suspension, woefully unprepared. The rear shocks were too soft, bottoming out under even moderate jumps. Up front, the forks lacked travel, making landings rough, unpredictable, and painful. Professional racers went down hard on this thing. Broken wrists, dislocated shoulders, even concussions weren't uncommon. It earned its nickname in blood, the Bone Breaker. It wasn't fast like the H2. It wasn't futuristic like the RE5, but it was the only bike that made riders fear their own machine. And in the world of motorcycles, that's the greatest failure of all. Not every motorcycle from the 70s was a disappointment. Some didn't just run well, they redefined what a great ride could feel like. So now, let's talk about the 5 best motorcycles of the 1970s. Number 5. 1975's Yamaha RD 350. Don't let the size fool you. The Yamaha RD 350 may have looked like a commuter's bike, but it rode like a backroad bandit. Its 347 cubic centimeter two-stroke twin churned out 39 horsepower at 7,500 RPM and 24 pound-feet of torque. That doesn't sound like much until you crack the throttle. The power hit fast, smooth, and sharp. One twist, and you were gone. Weighing in at just 342 pounds wet, the RD 350 was light, flickable, and fearless in the corners. Its twin-loop frame and basic suspension kept things tight and tidy without overcomplicating the ride. Braking: a single disc up front, drum in the rear. Simple, effective, and perfectly suited to its size. And Yamaha's auto-lube system meant no mixing oil and gas by hand, just fuel up and go. It even sipped gas like a gentleman, about 40 miles per gallon. That made it practical, not just playful. You could ride it to work and still carve up the twisties on the way home. It wasn't loud or flashy, but the RD 350 didn't need to be. It was smart, scrappy, and just a little wild. A straight-A student with a rebel's heart. Number 4. 1973's BMW R90S. While the RD 350 was a wild child, the BMW R90S was its polished older brother, refined, composed, but never boring. Under the tank sat an 898 cubic centimeter air-cooled boxer twin pushing out 67 horsepower at 7,000 RPM and 56 pound-feet of torque. But it wasn't just about numbers, it was the delivery. Power came on smooth and early, making the ride feel effortless at any speed. The low center of gravity gave it a planted, confident feel through curves. And with plush suspension, thick saddle, and upright bars, it was a touring dream. Long highway days felt like a breeze. It didn't skimp on features either. Twin front disc brakes, classic analog gauges, and that signature windscreen gave it presence. And the smoke silver and black paint job, subtle but unforgettable. It wasn't loud, it was distinguished. Even better, it pulled nearly 47 miles per gallon and topped out around 124 miles per hour. Fast when needed, calm when cruising. The R90S didn't need to shout to impress. It simply glided past, with quiet confidence and impeccable manners. A true German gentleman in a leather jacket. Number 3. 1972's Kawasaki Z1 900. When the Z1 rolled onto the scene, the game changed overnight. Powered by a 903 cubic centimeter DOHC inline-4, the Z1 made 82 horsepower at 8,500 RPM with 54 pound-feet of torque. But numbers only told half the story. Throttle response was crisp, power delivery smooth, and the red line, it came fast and felt endless. Top speed was an astonishing 132 miles per hour, faster than anything else on showroom floors in '72. And despite weighing around 540 pounds, the Z1 stayed solid across the whole speed range. No wobble, no nonsense. Its twin-loop frame was rock steady. The wide tires gripped with confidence, and the single front disc brake, paired with a rear drum, did the job surprisingly well for its time. And it wasn't just fast, it was practical. Fuel economy hovered around 35 miles per gallon, and it was easy to wrench on. Parts were plentiful, and reliability legendary. This wasn't just Japan showing up, it was Japan throwing down the gauntlet. The Z1 didn't imitate Harley, it challenged it. Strong, smooth, and built to outlast the rest. It wasn't just a motorcycle, it was a warning shot. Loud, clear, and fast. Number 2. 1975's Honda Goldwing GL 1000. In 1975's, Honda didn't just build a motorcycle, they built a revolution on two wheels. The Goldwing GL 1000 came packed with a flat-4 999 cubic centimeter engine, cranking out 78 horsepower at 7,000 revolutions per minute and 61 pound-feet of torque. It wasn't a screamer, it was a puller, smooth, steady, and quietly strong. Weighing about 584 pounds, you'd expect it to be a handful, but with its low center of gravity, it felt surprisingly manageable, even at parking lot speeds. On the highway, rock solid, no vibrations, no fatigue, just open road and quiet confidence. It featured hydraulic suspension, a plush wide seat, and dual disc brakes, front and rear, for touring comfort and modern stopping power. Fuel economy hit a respectable 35 miles per gallon, and with a 5-gallon tank, it could go the distance. No fairing, no stereo, just raw engineering and rider-first design. It was the blueprint for every touring bike that came after it. The Goldwing didn't beg for attention. It earned respect mile by mile. This wasn't a toy or a thrill ride, it was a companion, built to carry your dreams across state lines. Number 1. 1978's Honda CBX 1000. If the Goldwing was a touring symphony, the CBX 1000 was pure rock and roll. Honda didn't just want fast, they wanted unforgettable, and they delivered with a 1,047 cubic centimeter inline-6 engine, pumping out 105 horsepower at 9,000 revolutions per minute. Torque was 53 pound-feet, plenty to launch this beast without breaking a sweat. But it wasn't just about numbers. The sound, like an F1 car on two wheels, smooth and civil, down low, roaring and glorious at full throttle. Top speed, around 136 miles per hour, nothing short of jaw-dropping for its day. And yet, thanks to a well-balanced chassis and air-assisted forks up front, it never felt out of control. Big, yes, but never bulky. Stopping power came from twin discs up front and a single disc in back, strong enough to handle its nearly 600-pound frame. Fuel economy, a respectable 39 miles per gallon, proving it could thrill and still go the distance. The CBX didn't brag, it didn't need to. One look, one ride, one blip of the throttle, and the world noticed. It wasn't just a superbike, it was a statement. Whether you admired the elegance of the BMW, the wild howl of the Honda CBX, or just missed the raw crackle of a two-stroke tearing down an open road, one thing's certain: the 1970s gave birth to legends. So how about you? Did you own, ride, or dream about any of the bikes on this list? Or is there one you think we missed, or maybe shouldn't have included at all? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because it's your stories that keep these machines alive. If this journey stirred a memory or made you smile, give it a like, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next legend waiting to be rediscovered. We'll see you next time, where the past isn't just remembered, it's felt.